I'm back. Oh, here we are once again. Only just as well, but don't worry about it. Here I am, rock and roll, ready to cook another guitar. But you know, I was sitting thinking about guitars, and some people have said that, oh, it's an assembly job, or it's not a build, or some people say it's a build, it's not an assembly. Call it what you will. It's just that I don't know many houses that get made of bricks where you assemble them. Do you? But it's got the brain going a little bit, and you know, as you do sometimes. Got the wife's jigsaw over there. You might just see a bit of it there. I've got the whole packet here. Very nice. It got me wondering about it a little bit with guys that often don't know where to start with all this stuff. And that's what these videos are about, for guys who don't really know much of how to do this sort of stuff, just assembling or building, or call it what you will. It's a bit like a jigsaw. It's got a picture on it, maybe the thing you want to make. But you've got all these multitudes of pieces that somehow are going to fit together. And they don't always do that. And I'm going to cover some aspects of that in this video, and maybe as a separate video as well, for just comparing components. So one of the things I'm going to do is compare sort of an American built neck, for example, with a Chinese built neck, for example. And it's got a Fender logo on, don't worry about that, it's just a copy. But this was a neck that I bought originally intending to make or assemble, call it what you will, a guitar that most people could easily afford. And this neck cost, believe it or not, with all that figuring, if you can see all that, it's really nice. And the stuff down the side, all finished nice on the frets too, on the ends in particular, which I'll get to. Quite a nice looking neck. The only problem is, it's nothing like a Fender neck, believe it or not. You just think it is. It is. Looks the same, doesn't it? Yeah, well, we'll come to that a bit later. Yeah, I started out with this, this aim of buying a $100 body and a $90 neck, literally, bound as well, and all the rest of it, all the cheap bits. I've got a box full of bits down here that I haven't always used on the other guitars, because I changed my mind on this and changed mine on. And you know, by the time I got to get a little bit further with that build, I gave up. And there's a good reason why. You might be saying, hey Tony, this is about a new guitar, isn't it? Well, in a roundabout way, this video is about a new guitar. But it ends up not being the guitar that it started out as. And what I want to do is to really make you think about, when you go and buy cheap Chinese parts and cheap Chinese bodies, the sort of problems that you could come across. Now, I had this amazing idea. What I was going to do, I was going to veneer the guitar body. Yeah, I got my hands on this this veneer that was like walnut, but it was really nice, and I stuck it on the body. Look at that. See that? So what it was a really nice, cheap Chinese body, and I decided to stick this walnut on the top and on the back, and finish it off, and so on and so forth. But the more I looked at the body, and the more I had problems, there's lots of problems on this, I'm going to cover later, I decided in the end to say, hey Tony, you're going to have a piece of junk if you're not careful. Why put all the slightly better bits on this one? What all you really need to do is to get some decent bits, rather than some less decent bits. Now if you don't have a lot of money, that looks great. It does look pretty good for the money. All about, it cost about $100, and the veneer cost me $20 for 6 pieces, or $25, something like that. It doesn't look bad. By the time you finish spraying it, doing your other stuff and rubbing it down and the rest of it, it's great. Well, not really, because the way that I stuck the veneer on it, it started to lift, and then you started getting things like, see that little bit on the edge, if you can see that. It sort of went a bit funny on the edges, and then you got these holes in here that aren't really cut right as fenders are. Throw it down there, that's what I said, get over there. That's enough of that. So then, you're back to the jigsaw. The very thing where we started out. And we started out wanting to make this low-cost guitar with cheap Chinese parts, and as I said, later on I'll show you some of the other benefits of buying the cheap crap. And then you won't buy them, will you, hopefully? Unless you want to be like one of them luthier types, then you shouldn't be watching this video, should you? You already know how to do it. And you certainly will be doing things that I don't want to do, and never will do. I couldn't care less about any of that. Really, what I want to do is to make a really great guitar cheaper than I can go and buy a Fender. So I'm going to use Fender license parts and lots of Fender parts from Fender that are made in China. Ridiculous. We'll see. Let's run through this guitar and let's show you what we've got and show you what we're going to do. And we'll come back to that Chinese piece. That sounds good, doesn't it? A Chinese piece. I've always wanted one of them. A bit younger than me. No, not that sort. It must be some... It's just my mind. It's beginning to addle a bit. Don't worry. Yeah, we'll run through these parts. There's some really exciting parts I decided to put in this guitar ultimately. So you're really going to benefit a lot from some of this stuff. So hold on a minute. Let me get organised. Okay, well, let's run through what we've got to build this guitar or assemble this guitar, or I don't know. I ain't even going there with that one. Right, let's start at the beginning. Well, let's put that over there a minute. Got a very nice maple over swamp ash body that is 3.5 pounds. Very nice indeed. And you know what's great about this one? Everything's cut exactly right, the way it should be. And all the holes are in the right places, and the finish is awesome. Look at that finish. Nice. If you can see that really close up. It's nice. It's so simple to do. It's a walnut body. This is one just off the peg. You know, you go along and just buy one. I like this one because the finish on the top, to me, is really awesome. When I got it, it looked like that. Just plain old wood. So I got them finish it off in Tequila Sunrise. That sounds so great in rainy England. Anyway, that's the body out of the way. Then I thought to myself, you know, I built that Telecaster a while ago. You can check it here on this this thing running across the screen for the YouTube address, and you can go and watch the Telecaster. Now that had a fantastic neck on it. Honestly, one of the best necks that I've ever bought. It's a pity about this one then, isn't it? It's got a Fender logo on. I just put that on because it says here, licensed by Fender. That's why I put one on. You can do what you want. I don't sell them. I buy them for me. So I put mine on, and I've gone to the extreme of putting original Motherfunker on here, just so you can't call it a copy. Because it's not a copy. It's licensed by Fender. And it's got Fender tuners, which I've already fitted, by the way. If you want to find out how to fit those tuners, well, you can go again to the Telecaster one, here. It'll pop up anytime soon. Yeah. So go to that one. It shows you what I did to fit these. Now, I've changed a little bit since then. What I actually did on this one, I'll just talk about it because they're already fitted. Standard Fender tuners, and they have two little pegs that sit in to the neck, which Warmoth don't drill, refuse to drill, or can't drill, or whatever story they've got. So what I did is I just put the thing in, got it straight, and tightened the nut up a bit on the front, and it left two little holes. And you can see that they're pretty level down there. You can see that. Okay, so that's what I did. Warmouth neck, you can see it's a very nice bird's eye, which is what I wanted. Really, it's not a patch on the Telecaster one. This one I think was about $350 or something ridiculous. Dearer than it should be. I could have gone and bought a genuine Fender neck, but I thought I'd give them another go. So I chose this neck. We'll come back to the neck because there's some crap on this as well. Well, moving on from that, what am I going to show you next? Well, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to show you one of these. And I've used one of these before on one of my Fender Strat builds. Not really a Fender Strat, but it's as near as you'll ever get. I should go buy one. Yeah, it's a Wilkinson tremolo. If you can see that, you probably can. Looks nice, feels nice, is nice. None of that side crap that you get on the real Fender one. And the best thing about it, it's got one of those tremolo arms that you can put in. It's got a little adjuster at the back, so you can get just the right play. One of the things it did have, which I didn't like, is it had a black end on there, so I had to get the kettle out, boil the water over it, pull it off, start that on, boil the water over it, bang it, squeeze it on. Now I've got a white one. Nice. I'll put that back. That was the reason for choosing that, and it's cheap, right? It's no more expensive than the Fender one, and it's about 30 times better, so I thought that was a good idea, really. Well, what else have I got? Well, I didn't want to buy junky pickups. I got these custom shop 69 Strat pickups, and I changed these into darker, sort of creamy type of covers rather than the brazen white ones that they come with, because they just don't look real for 69. These are more real, and they're made by Abigail Ibarra. If you've heard of her, or if you haven't, she was making them since 1950 something. And it says on here she made them for Jimi Hendrix, she made them for Eric Clapton, Buddy Holly, and loads of others, no doubt. Maybe even you. Anyway, if they're good enough for them, they're more than good enough for me. I like these, but they are the old-fashioned type of pickups. So what we've got to do with the body is we've got to make sure that it's all insulated properly and grounded properly and stuff like that. And I've got another little innovation going to go into this guitar, which you're going to see in a second or two, which is really quite a useful piece of kit. At least I think it is. Well, as you can see, I've already fitted the controls to the scratch plate, and it is a Warmouth scratch plate. It isn't a Fender one. It's basically exactly the same. It's a single ply. I don't care. I like this one because it's a bit aged. You know, it's a sort of creamy thing like the pickups. It's a creamy thing going on, and it's fitted. All nice, all the electronics in the back and the rest. However, it isn't quite what you think it is, because I'm going to flip it over. And we're going to take a look at that. Well, what that is, I've never used one before in my life. It's a tone shaper. What it's all about is flexibility on the wiring of a Strat. Right? That's basically where we're at. That's why I chose that. There's a load of papers down here. You can see them just at the edge of camera. And that'll show you the different combinations and things that you can get from that. And you know what's best about that? For guys that don't have any experience, there's no soldering. None. Not a single wire needs soldering. It's all push in, flick a switch, thanks very much. Awesome. Especially if you're not too au fait with it. You know, all the rest of it. That should be exciting. That's like a mini review in itself. Now I'm not going to set it up and show you every combination later on down the video. There's too many. I'm going to set it up to what I like, and that's it. I'm not going to keep taking this lid off. I have no interest in doing that. So what else we got? Yeah, I got one of these. I often go out and try and find these things, and it's a real one too. I don't know whether you can see that. You probably can't. Is it blurred or is it me? I don't know if it's blurred or not, but you should probably be able to see it says limited edition Fender Custom Shop, and it's a real one. Nice. Try and find one. Oh. Then I've got the bits and pieces, the stuff that glues everything together. It's like that jigsaw, having nearly everything, and these are the last few bits that make it into a picture. What I like about this one is not a lot. It says here, genuine Fender parts for pure Fender sound, feel and performance, Jack Farrell, Strat Gold, part number 991. What can I say about it? Nothing. There it is. And then I've got some more Fender bits here. I've got some gold screws for the pickups and switches. Fender bits, they say. And I've got a couple of string trees that I might or might not fit. I've also got a gold jack, which I thought would go nice, rather than the chrome one that comes with the tone shaper. And that, my friends, is basically enough to build this guitar. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on with it. I can mess around all day and build it. But before we do that, I'm going to go over showing you a couple of things on those comparisons between that Chinese stuff and these. And I'm just going to talk about these other bits as we go along. And I'll talk about some of the things on this neck and the Chinese neck that might surprise you somewhat. In fact, we'll do that now and get that out of the way. There they are, side by side. And I'm not going to spend hours on it. I just want to show you some of these features of the problems that you, trust me, you will have if you go and buy these necks and you try and fit them to a Fender Strat body. And that body there is exactly the same as a real Fender body. It's the same. Don't anybody give me the crap that it isn't. Straight off you can see, looking at this neck, well look, spot the difference? Well, that one stops there and this one stops here. How ridiculous is that? But it gets better than that. One of the reasons I gave up with this neck is you can see that I've sort of been grating down at the end here. Can you see that? Grating the edges down. Can you see? To make it rounder. Okay, so these corners actually weren't these corners. Well, it's a problem because this is all a finished neck and it's all nice, and this particular one's bound, and even the binding isn't a Fender shape at the end. What about that? So you buy this neck just to plonk on your Strat or on a body that you might have made or bought or done whatever, and it's the wrong profile. In fact, I don't think that fits any Strat. It's almost like a Telecaster neck. It's ridiculous. It looks a good idea until you see that. But there's more. And this is where we move on to issues with the neck. I'm going to get the camera and come in close, and I'm going to show you this Chinese one. Remember, that's the bound one. And I'm going to show you the Warmouth one, which in all intents and purposes the Warmouth one is the correct shape, size, correct headstock, correct this, correct that, and the Chinese one isn't. It's got a bigger headstock, it's got the wrong profile, but there is something about the Chinese one that's actually better than the Warmouth one, and the Warmouth one was 6 to 8 times more expensive. Okay, so what you got there is the Chinese neck. You can see it's bound. It's very nice indeed. It is bound. And you can look, I want you to look really carefully at the fret ends, because this is how it came to me. And you know, it feels really nice on those fret ends. In fact, it feels exceptionally nice. It's very much like a sort of rolled fret end, like you get on some of the Fenders these days. Now let's go look at the Warmouth one. Okay, well there's the Warmouth one. Now I can't really get in much closer than that with this camera. It doesn't want me to do it, so I do have some pictures and I might just overlay them on this section of the video. Then again I might not. But these frets, you can see, are finished very different on the end. This isn't how it came from Warmouth. How it came from Warmouth is, you can see they've been edged off, well they have now, by me, but they were almost just slightly diagonal to vertical, and they dug in your hand like you wouldn't believe. So what I ended up doing is going and get you know, a stone and stoning the sides of the frets so we could get a bit of an angle on there so that they don't feel like they're digging in. But I can assure you that the frets on this other thing over down here, just down there, are 1,000 times better on the ends than these. And that's not because Tony stoned the ends, no, that's because Warmouth did a crap job. And I've come across this problem on 2 or 3 occasions. In fact, with every Warmouth neck I've ever had, with one exception, and that was the Telecaster. The Telecaster had fret ends almost rolled, so it was very nice. But the Warmouth necks, trust me, in that respect, are awful. Now I just quickly want to cover this section. When you look at those two headstocks, they look quite similar. Well, they do sort of. The only problem is, this headstock here actually is bigger. It's got a bigger profile on this edge, it's further out, and around here it's sort of not quite the same. So what you're really getting is a profile that isn't quite a fender neck, but it claims it is. Which is a bit of a letdown really. Only when you put one neck on top of the other do you see these shortcomings, and it's the same down this end. Only when you actually put one neck over the other, or try and fit this neck in that body over there it is, then you will notice that it doesn't fit. And it, once again, like this thing here, like I showed you before, you can see very clearly that one ends there, this one ends here. It's almost like one of them Japanese necks that they've gone and copied somehow, I don't know. But great looking piece of wood, you can see that, but honestly I'm going to give it my friend. I don't want to know, it's awful. I'm back. It's a bit of a run around, right. Okay, I'm going to move the neck out of the way, let's get this body going, and what we're going to do first of all, with most of you guys that have seen this stuff, what we do is we take the body and we use copper tape to seal all around these inside, all around this section here, down in there, and then as soon as I've done that, and you can go and check on this video here, wherever it is, it's going to pop up any second, isn't it? Come on Tony, where's the video? Yeah, it's going to pop up there. Go and watch that if you want to see exactly how you fit the copper in there. Or just let me go and fit it now, and then we can get on with building this guitar. I don't want to be doing this one for you know, 3 days. I just want to get this built out of the way so we can go and play it. Just before I do go and do that, for the guys who haven't seen any of this before, this is the tape. It's like copper tape. It's double-sided. Well, sorry, it's single-sided, gluey. The other side's got copper on it. But what's special about it is this conducts electricity in the glue. Now there's a number of types you can get, but this, you want the one that conducts electricity. And you get this on eBay, or Fleabay as some people call it. I don't know some name, but that sums them up. Well, that was quick. I'm back. So what your body should look like when you've used this bit of tape is it should look like that, so that it's all filled in with very nice copper all everywhere really. Oh, one thing you don't want to forget is to put the little holes in for the wires that go through these places as you go. Well, what are we going to do next? Well, while we're at it, I'm going to stick a bit over these sections down here. I'm going to go do that now, and I'll show you in a minute what that's like, because it's on the other video. Remember that one? Okay, well I've done that. There it is. All I've got to do is cut them out and cut the holes ready for the screws to fit through. So I'll go and do that now. Looks just like an ordinary scratch plate, except it's got these bits that go across, which you're going to touch these bits on the body and around there. That's joined to this. This is joined to the ground. Bob's your uncle. And Cyril, actually. Anyway, there's that bit, all ready to start putting wires and things on. Now we don't have to do anything else with that bit, but what we do have to do is to take some of this, I go around all this cavity and put this stuff inside so that nothing can short out. If you don't do that, you can get into trouble. Well, that didn't take long. Whoa! You can see it's got the masking tape all inside. The holes are still clear. Goes all the way around here, just to stop anything from shorting out in this cavity and what have you. Okay? Now if you do need to put a ground wire on, some people put a ground wire on, I normally cut a little square there, screw a screw in with its little round thing on that you fasten your wire to, and then run that up as a ground, as well as the one from the claw on the back. I like grounds. Grounds are good, especially with this type of pickup. The more grounding you got, the better it's going to be. Right? It's that simple. Okay, let's move on. Well, at this point in time, we're going to get the pickups out. We're going to fit them to there, and we're going to flip it over and do a little bit of wiring. That's not actually screwed on tight yet. Got to screw that on tight and put this this little thing here. It all just clips into place. It's no soldering, like I said. We're going to cover it close up and go from there. What I'm going to do first, though, before I cover up close and we will get down and have a closer look, is I'm just going to fit these 3 pickups and have the wires dangling so we can get on with it, Otherwise we'll be here all day. Just before we carry on, I did actually mark on neck, middle and bridge. So when it comes out of the pack, you can see that it's sort of fitting the right way to start off with. Yeah, like so. So these wires go that way. Okay, you got that. I'm back. Well, of sorts. I'm round the back at the minute. Let's get round the front. Okay, well, here we are. I fitted the 3 Abigail Ibarra pickups, 1969 custom shop jobbies. All very nice. It says here 10/1/12. So that's the 10th of January 2012. I think she retired not long after that. I could be wrong on the date, but I don't think she's there now, let's put it that way. I also fitted the little switch here. Looks like a CRL to me, or something very similar. Very high quality switch. And it just simply connects with 2 little push-ons. If you look carefully, you can see that they just slide on and you're in business. Well, that's quite good, isn't it? Especially for you guys that don't solder, or don't want to solder, or can't solder. Any one of the 3 will do. Me, I can't solder, but I don't want to, so what we're going to do is we're going to do it the easy way. Now, just taking a look at this wire ensemble, or whatever they say anyway, you know what I mean. Round they come in the usual manner, usually drop down here somewhere, and that's where they've got to fit into there. Now, actually, when you do look on the board, I don't know if you can see that or not, but right down there are all the things that tell you what fits where. All very easy. And all you need to do is to press that down, push your wire in and let it go. In fact, here's some of the instructions. You can see there's the switch, connects in, these 2 push into them too, very simple, 2 screws and it's fitted. And it then goes on to show you about how you cut the cables, if you want to cut them. I guess you could wrap them up somehow. I'll probably cut them on this one. Press the knob, or press the button, call it what you want, slide the cable in, let it go, job done. That's your cabling done. Dead simple. Okay, so I'm going to wire these into position down here, and then we're going to look at the switches and the rest. Really, on some of the options that are available on this tone shaper. Looks a really great product. You've got loads of capacitors you can change. You can see them down there, and you can see them down there. This is the output plus a ground. I think there's a ground in there as well. And there's pretty much everything that you can configure, really. I mean, it's so simple, and it's just the flick of a little switch. And that manual over there, just off camera, actually has got 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different settings. But you can actually do an awful lot of stuff with this. You can have it just as a straightforward Strat, but maybe with different capacitors or any combination of capacitors to make up a different, well, a different capacitance. Or a different tone is a nice easy way of putting it. So like that, I'm just going to wire this in now, cable these up a little bit, make sure everything fits before we actually decide that the cabling's okay, and then I'll be back. Okay, well, you can see how my wiring's gone, nice and simple. Just keep it along the lines where it goes into these, keep that nice, into these slots between the pickups. You'll see them on the body, and then try and keep this as low as possible and as in as possible as you can. Not a lot of spare room in there. Got another couple of contacts there. Let's go around and take a look at what they are. It says here one is a ground, another one's a series link. If you want to use that. It's a ground, so that should all be good. Let's take a look at the switching. I'm back. Now, one of the things about this tone shaper is that in these instructions here, you do get a very thorough breakdown of what the thing can do. I can't remember them all, there's so many. Shows you how to flip a switch, it's not too difficult. Points out the control switches, what they do, what they're for, what they're not for. But there's a couple of mods in this, one's called the volume kit. Volume kit's resistor capacitor that can be engaged across the problem of treble roll-off that accompany, you know, like the TBX type of thing. No roll-off. It sounds good, let's put it that way. Then you've got this other thing called the Billy mod. I've never heard of that one. Billy. Wasn't he at the Cuckoo's Nest? I don't know. Oh, maybe I'm showing my age. Anyway, it says here, some people don't like the idea of a volume kit, saying that it brings its own baggage to the party. Rock and roll, like a bit of baggage. There's another way to address a treble roll-off that involves having the tone pot receive its signal from the volume's output rather than from the switch. It only works with a single tone control, plus it makes the tone volumes controls inactive, so this method has its own trade-off. There are many people who swear by it. Maybe I'll swear at it. I don't know, I'm not too sure about that. Our opinion, we're not saying. Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's flip it over and look at the next bit, because it's all interesting stuff in this tone shaper. Tone, it's going to shape me. No, it will do, if I get it wrong. And one of the things that's interesting in this is the capacitors. We were talking about capacitors earlier on, and when you looked on that board I showed you them little square things. Well, them little square things are typically capacitors, and you've got a whole list of all of them here, and you can switch them in and out for different positions. So it's almost like having, typically on a Strat you've got one capacitor and it whirs around a bit depending on where you put the knobs and things like that. But what this means is that not only can you have capacitors for different tone knobs, but you can actually have different capacitors that are made up from others. So let's imagine you've got a good example. If you want a 70 microfarad, you flip the switches for 15, 22 and 33 if you add them up. I can't do that. It should be 70. That's what they say, and I'm sure that they are absolutely right. So you can go all the way up to 217 microfarads. You don't want to do that. You can be squeaky. Like Mickey Mouse or something. At 15 microfarads it probably won't do anything. Well, actually it will. But the point is, you've got all these to choose from, everything in blue. So it's a massive array of capacitors, if nothing else. If you wanted just a regular Strat with all these different capacitors, or these different tones, really, that's what they are. You can do it, and you haven't got to solder a beam. You just set them as you want them, and when you get fed up with that, you can come back in here, flip this off, and reset them. Why not? Good pastime. Yeah. So we got all this stuff down here, and we flip across to the next page, and it gives you the two-tone controls options. You know what they are: volume, tone, and tone. But not as we know, because you can set those two tones differently. Well, let me read a few choices. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't remember these, so I have to read them. It's too many. It's great. Awesome. First choice: volume, neck tone, middle tone. Simple enough. Next choice: volume, neck tone, middle and bridge tone. If you get it as you go down them. Next one: volume, neck tone, bridge tone. Volume, neck and middle tone, bridge tone. Volume, middle tone, bridge tone. Makes you think you've already had it, but you haven't. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at least, and it runs you through all the ins and outs. It's just flipping little switches, and it tells you how to set them. Very, very simple. Let's move on. On it goes. Blender. Now I thought this was something to do with baking cakes. You know, the missus had gone mad. Well, she has. Actually, it's nothing to do with cakes. Or is he? Oh, I don't know what to say. Anyway, the blender. Hold on a minute. I've got to have a laugh. I'm still laughing, don't worry. Okay, let's read it to you. Windy frailing was the inspiration. Got windy across those two there and turned the electric on. Oh! Anyway, lots of players have added a mini toggle or push-pull to their guitar, me included, so that they could have both the neck and bridge pickup on simultaneously. Sounds good, neck and bridge. But Windy's idea was to use a pot, provides more flexibility since you can add a little of the neck or bridge and have it on full or anything in between. What you're sort of doing is treble, neck, blend them. Nice. What could be easier? Well, what you've got here shows you an example. You've got the volume, which is where it should be. You've got a master tone now, instead of two tones or one tone. And then you've got this bottom one that's a blender between full treble or full neck, if you get me, or anything in between them, depending on where you place that. That sounds interesting. I might have to go with that. I might set mine up this way, and I tell you how hard it is. You set them to these little switches down here and you're in business. There's no thinking. That's great. Because most people don't want to solder, they don't want to think, they want to put these bits together and play. And that's what I'm going to do, eventually. You don't want me talking? Get out of here. You should be watching this. Okay, so that's the first choice: volume, master tone and blender. But then you've got the volume, master tone and blender with the Billy mod. Hi Billy. Whatever that is. There it is. So you can go down that route. We're running out now, we've got a few left. Series or parallel, this sounds good. Time to get fat. Well, the missus is in there, and I can tell you, she's got fat. She never used to be fat, but it's probably since I bought this. It's grown on her. Hasn't it? Do you know the difference between series and parallel? Yeah. Strat and tele pickups are usually combined in parallel, yielding that hollow open sound that we all love. Don't we? Well, you do. Actually, I do. That is, we hope you love it. You do love it, right? They say. Gibson's PAF, on the other hand, or PAF, patent applied for, on the other hand, combines coils in series. That's what gives it that full punchy mid-range. Now you can have the best of both worlds at the turn of a knob. That could be painful. Careful which knob you choose. It's very similar. You've got top one volume, middle one master tone, and bottom one series or parallel. Now I did read this a little bit earlier. Right? It's either is or it isn't. So you're fully right or you're fully left. And it does tell you. With a knob fully counterclockwise, the switch don't work like normal. Position 1 all the way back, you get the bridge and middle in series. In position 5 all the way forward, you get the neck and middle in series. Positions 2 and 4, you get only the middle pickup. Okay, this is only when the bottom knob is fully counterclockwise. Otherwise the 5-way works normal. So it's like on and you get the funny things, or off and it's normal. I think I'll pass on that one. A series parallel idea. Sounds good but not good enough. And the last one, as if you've got a humbucker. It wouldn't be a Strat then, would it? Well, maybe. Yeah, you might get away with calling it that. Fender did. Say who's up for a little humbucker in their bridge. Well, your tone shaper will accommodate you in 3 ways. And on it goes. You've got all the settings: volume, neck tone, bridge tone, volume, master tone, pot 3 not used, volume, master tone and blender. All sounds good. There's a huge amount of stuff in that thing there. And like I said, what I really like about it is you can fit this on here in 10 minutes. Just cut your little wires back, stick them all on, it's all good, it plugs in. I've got 3 wires to do there, a bit of a ground wire or 2, and it's running. Now, there is a little shortcoming, but not much of one, it's hardly their fault. I mean, you know how it goes with gold. Well, it goes like this. It comes with one of these things. You get, well, it doesn't, but I buy one of these things. It's one of them Fender things. Probably says made in China somewhere. It did on one of them. Ah, unbelievable. There it is. And there's the chrome one to go with it. Nah. Good idea, 2 little wires. But instead of me doing that, what I did, what did I do? I got a gold one. And I'm going to use 2 of the wires off the pickups. So for me there's a bit of soldering, but not much. And well, that's what I'm going to do. So there, that's easy enough. Actually I might use some other wire a bit more somewhere. So the gold one goes with the gold one, but you get the chrome one. If you're not picky, it doesn't matter. But if you're like me, I am picky. So there, it's my guitar, I'm having a gold one, so there. Just for your own information, I did settle on the blender wiring. That's volume at the top, master tone in the middle, and the blender at the bottom. And I opted for the one on the left, which says, doesn't really matter, it's the one on the left, on these 2. The non-Billy mod, that's what it is. The Billy mod lies there, so I haven't done that one. Yeah. You'll be able to hear it later, or maybe in another video. Might be at the end of this one, might be in another one. Depends how fast we go on. I'm trying to move along pretty fast. I'm back, it's daylight. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to get on with it and get it finished. I want to talk about a couple of things that I've had problems with as we're moving forward. One of which, funnily enough, was the Wilkinson tremolo, which on the previous one I had was perfect. And I did say around the back here there's a little tiny screw just to adjust the tremolo. Well, there is. Mine fell out. So now you want to talk quality. It looks great, and certainly the previous one I had was great. Looks like decent metal as well. The only problem is that screw in there didn't fit that well, and when you come and adjust it up, which I did, that's how I like it. It's stripped. How's that? Great fun. Well, I'll tell you what you have to do, shall I? Just in case you ever get one. So you've got to strip the whole thing down, and inside there's like a nylon, I don't know, nylon type of bush. Pull the bush out, skim down one edge so it allows the screw to go a bit further in when you put that one edge facing where the screw goes, if you get me. Push it back in and your screw will fit in. You probably can't see, but on this one it's nearly flush now. I adjusted it to where I like it. Bit of Loctite, thanks very much. I'm never getting back to it. That to me, inferior. on this one. The previous one I had was perfect, but this one, I could almost go fling. There you go, that's what you get. Oh, and by the way, I also soldered the 2 wires because I changed this for a gold one. Oh, nice and gold, yeah. So it's a gold one with the 2 wires, and I'm going to fit that. And actually, the next thing I'm going to do is fit the neck. So, see you in a minute. All you do is put your neck on there, not on here. Put your neck on there, put your plate on, tighten the 4 bolts, and it's rock and roll. It didn't take 2 minutes. It just took 4 screws. One thing you've got to be careful of when you go and get these neck plates, you can see that on there. When you get these neck plates and the screws that they come with, when you buy the cheap ones, you know, like the Chinese ones, or maybe some plates that are not Chinese but they've been put together by an amateur to sell to you, often you'll find the screws that are fitted, that come with it, not fitted. Firstly, they don't fit in the holes in the body, if there are any. If you buy one of these and it's got the neck holes drilled, and the holes, don't take the screws and throw them in the bin. Then you can either find out which screws you need from the internet, because it's like that, or you can buy the genuine screws. To be honest, I always buy the real ones. They're always perfect fit. They always go in first time, and you always end up with a neck joint that is, shall we say, absolutely perfect. And of course, linked with my limited edition Fender Custom Shop plate that cost an arm and a leg, this guitar's getting a bit more expensive. You don't have to have one of those, you can buy one of the $10 ones. But watch those screws. Another little tip, I know it's on some of the other videos, but if you buy one of these bodies where this tapers off, and you use tapers off so you can get better up here, you know, better access. If you use regular screws, they'll poke out through the front when you screw it together. So remember that the screws that are in the tapered out bit have to be shorter. Just a tip. I'd hate to see you go wrong at this stage because we're nearly there, aren't we? We've only got a few bits to screw together, and it's all going to be well, rock and roll. Now hey, listen, I wouldn't say the bridge was a piece of cake. It's more like a piece of bridge. Here it is. It is raring to go. It's a bit like a Fender one. You just take your 6 screws and you screw them in there. Well, what could be easier? Well, we shall see. One of the things, just before I fit that you do want to be careful of is, here's a couple of the screws that fit in there. Okay? I'll just take this one for now. Check these screws very carefully, because I have had guitars where these screws, when these screws come with the tremolo, indeed the Fender one, the screws when they're fully in, actually, let me show you on the back, they actually poke out through here. Awful, looks awful, little things sticking out, that end of screws that dig into your hand, right there. So you don't want any of that. So just make sure that those screws that you're going to use are short enough. Obviously not too short, but short enough. Now, to fit this bridge, it is as easy as I said. You put that on there, line your screws up, get your screws. Guess what? You've got to screw them in. Make sure they're straight. Just keep the bridge flat and screw it until it touches. So it's just slightly loose like that. I'll fit the rest. Just hold on. Okay, well, we fitted that okay. Now what you do, when you tighten these things in, you can tighten them until this goes tight. You don't really want to do that. You want to get them tight, then just back them off. Just a tiny little amount, so this still moves. When you've done that to all 6, you'll find that this won't tip up, as it should do. So what you've got to do is you can see the angle on the edge, where it's supposed to tip. So just slacken these off, a little bit at a time on each one, and try it, and you should be able to tilt it up like that. So that fits flush, makes that edge in there, down there, fit flush, and the rest tip up. And just taking a quick look at the back, you can see there are no holes where the darn thing came through. So, good move. And I like to take a little bit of wrapping and just put it under there, just while we're building the guitar. Just stops it to damage anything. You can also notice that I soldered the back plate, both sides. And there's the tremolo screwed in, fitted, soldered. Just 3 on this because I use 9 to 46 usually, or 9 to 42 sometimes. You should notice on the tremolo it'll go forward plenty. Well, it doesn't go back because there's no strings on it, but don't worry about that yet. We'll come back to that later. Okay, well now we're just going to fit this wires through here, 2 screws, you're in business. Okay, well there it is. I'm not going to screw it in yet, I'm just wanted these wires through so we can fit the scratch plate or pick guard, some people call it. Let's do that now. Okay, we've got the 3 wires. We've got the white, which is the hot out. We've got the black, which is the ground. And we've got this other one that comes from the tremolo core. You just push them in there, flip the board over, fit it, screw it down, and you're in business. I'm going to put a couple of these little things on there, and then I'm going to fit the scratch plate, screwing the holes in extremely carefully. And one thing you should note is that the plate fits perfect. There's no line in this or the plate's warped in any way or anything like that. It all fits absolutely flush. All you've got to do is drill the holes and away you go, which is what I'm going to do now. I'm going to fit the little screws that we have. I tend to use the Fender ones, it's just me. Some of the Chinese ones have funny heads on them and they look awful. Okay, well there's a quick shot of the plate fitted, this fitted, the neck fitted. We're nearly there, aren't we? Just a few more things and we'll be ready to rock and roll. Well, one of the things we've got to fit, tune up behind them, let's have a look. Oh yeah, there they are. Now these things, they're called Strat blocks. What you've got to watch with that is just make sure that you drill them properly. We'll go around and drill one of the 2 and you can see how it's done. Take a quick look around there, just put a bit of tape on, just in case you slither and go off. That's a good idea around the top as well, by the way. All I need to do is take my trusty drill the hole. Couldn't find any other screws, so it looks like these are going in. And make sure you also have it straight, because it's not good if it isn't. And you just basically drill a hole. There you go. Well, here we are. Nearly finished. Do I know it'll work? Yeah, of course I know it'll work. There's no wiring. A couple of little wires there, one there, and you're in business. Next thing to do is we've got to fit the strings on it. Got to tighten them up. Set that intonation. Not difficult, don't let anybody kid you. And we're ready to rock and roll. There's nothing else to do. Oh, there is. Maybe I'll fit those Fender tree strings. Maybe I won't. We'll see. We'll see whether I'm in the mood and whether it looks right. So hang on a minute, I'm going to get some strings and I'm going to string her up. Yeah, then I'm going to put the strings on the guitar later. I'll be back. Hold on. Just before I go on, got me a little whirly jig, string tightening, and my Ernie Ball 9-42s. This tastes great. Sound even better. Get on there now. I'll be back. Here's a quick shot of the string trees I put in at the top. You can see, let me just get that. You can see that how they're spaced. And I had that actually out of the Fender Chronicles from one of the Fenders. It's not too common to have two, but I do know that you need this angle, so I fitted them both. What you have to do, drill a hole, not all the way through, and you have a little secondary hole just for lining them up, which you just dab on, and away it goes. I'm back. Well, it's in tune. It all looks reasonable. I've got to do the intonation. Tonation. I like that, don't you? Done that one before, I think. Oh, my eyes are getting funny. Don't worry. Okay, it's got a very, very low action on it, this one. Nice. Anyway, that Wilkinson thing, I had to go back to it again, and that little screw was rotating round as it would. You knew it would, I did too. And I could go and find another screw and start tapping the hole out, and trust me, more trouble than it's worth. So what I did, just in case any of you have any problems, I got one of these things, one of these tie tags. I stripped all the bridge down yet again, and I just took that thin end and wedged it down inside the bushing, and now look, it's perfect. It'll never be adjusted because it can't be, but it does play perfect. It's perfect for me. I don't like it dangling around and floating around. And I also did the bridge when I set this up from the back. By the way, change those little screws out at the back for better ones. Yeah, just seemed a good idea at the time. Longer they were actually. Yeah, so sounds nice, even unplugged. I didn't have to do a single thing to the electronics. I plugged in and it worked. I didn't even check it before I fitted it. That's how good that tone shaper thing is. It's awesome, man. No messing around, no wires, no nothing. I don't often talk about people that sell me spares and stuff like that, because you know it's a bit, it's not really Tony. But there's one guy over in England here that's helped me a lot with Fender bits. Now he's not the cheapest in the world, but he does have them, and if you order anything off him, he's back to you straight away. First Avenue Guitars, J4 Fender Guitar Parts, it says here. Don't know what that means. John Southwart, genuine Fender parts. Pay less than my eBay prices. www.firstguitars.co.uk, or you could call him. I'm not going to give you all that crap, but there he is. I told you about him. I've used him half a dozen times on a few different guitars, and he's always come up with the right bits. That's what matters. Now listen, string height. I've talked about string height already on this, that it's very low. I like it low. When you've got that guitar amp cranked, it's awesome. Especially with these Jimmy pickups. Oh, that's another thing, the height of the pickups. You can mess around with these all day. Up, lower, da, 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 da. You'll read about it 1,000 times. You know what, I just set them about there, about 3/16 of an inch, up, out of the plate, and they work perfect. What more could you need? But this height is quite low. Okay, intonation is the last thing, and then we'll be able to plug it in. Intonation is all very simple. You move these forward and back, depending on, you do that, that's an E, hold it down, that should be the same. I've got to check it anyway, looks like I have got to higher it a bit. I'll be back in a minute. So all we do is make sure it's in tune, like that, or nearly like that. That's the 12th fret should be the same, which it was. 12th fret, same. Next, D, and here's G. Okay, B and D. Okay, there you go, that's intonation. Well, I've got the cup of tea, I've got the fat hat. Oh, that's a cat hat. No, sorry, it's Mckenzie.com hat. I've got the guitar, it's all done, it all works, but I haven't plugged it in. I'm dying to plug it in. And you get these strings settle a little bit when you do that, and I might adjust a couple of these a little bit, or, you know, the usual sort of rubbish. I haven't put the back plate on either, which I've got yet to do, because I haven't got a back plate, but no doubt I'll get one. Okay, well, where are we at? Let's do a bit of summing up before we go on to actually plugging the thing in. Well, where we're at is I had to take the neck and faff around with that with a stone on the edges, because it's cutting into my fingers like some of them Warmouth necks I've seen before. What else was difficult? Well, this damn bridge, this Wilkinson bridge. This one here, awful. It's working now, but let's face it, it isn't working the way it should. But it's okay for me, because I love it like that. It's just perfect. I'm never going to change it, so it's going to stay on there for now. I'll change it if I get peed off. What else was difficult? Well, to be honest, nothing. Except those tuners there. Let's move the cup of tea out of the way. There we go. Those tuners. Now those tuners are the modern style Fender tuners, and what they do is they have a bigger hole at the back of the neck and a smaller hole at the front, so it's I think it's 10mm at the back and 8.7mm at the front. Or it's 13/64 and 11/64, I think they say. Something like that. It's a pain in the arse to do, because I ordered this neck with 11/32s and I had to take the backs out by hand. But then you've got another problem, because on those tuners you've got two little pegs that stick in, and if you don't get it right, your tuners are all over the place like this. It looks awful. So that's the Warmouth neck, which feels okay now, but by God, when I bought that neck it didn't feel okay, and unless those boys are going to solve that, it'll be the last neck I ever buy from Warmouth once again. Right, I'm getting back to Fender necks and we can get stuffed. American quality, yeah, sure. I can go and buy a Fender Mexican neck, better on the fret ends than that, and cheaper. Wasn't that rain outside? It's absolutely, I'd say it's cats and dogs, but more like elephants and antelopes to me by the size of some of them rain drops. Okay, well, we got a bit of a quick sort of demo, a bit clean and really than anything else, because I want to show you the blender mode. Sounds good. Anyway, here's the Strat with everything up full in its treble pickup. Nothing on there. Really nice sound. Then you've got this blender. Hear it. What it says in the instructions, if you want to read them, is it feeds in this neck pickup. This one here. So if I back that into, say, the middle, what you've now got is a somewhat of a, well, them two. Sounds really nice. So, put that back where it should be, and even in the sort of this one and this one, you can hear it. You get that. More subtle there. Nevertheless, it's still there. Well, you get in the middle position, let's have a look. Good. Now when you're in the neck pickup, which I always like the neck pickups, you can sort of dull it back a bit. I think it puts... well, let's get a bit of a screwdriver on the job. Like a lot. It's definitely on. So what it does the blending in reverse, so it's going to add top the more treble you go with it. So that's the real, that one there I suspect is the real. In any case, it's all good. Let's get this sound. Personally, I like it choppy. Nice. So there you have it. The Strat. What an awesome guitar. So easy to build. Really. From just any old parts. And if you listen to the hum, there's hardly any there. Now obviously if you crank it up on it, if you get near, you're going to do that. Well, you can hear it's gone. I wonder what it sounds like cranked. Well, that's it guys. Another finished Strat. I'm not going to do any more Strats, I don't think. I've done 4 or 5 now. They get a bit boring after a while, so hence the reason I cut back a little bit on this one. Don't forget I have that other section of video where we talk about the body and the neck and the Chinese thing. And I got a few pictures. I'm probably going to do that on a separate video, really, other than just the quick chat we had. Because it's a bit of an eye-opener really. I started out to want to make a guitar that was quite cheap, and I ended up not making a guitar that was cheap. It's cost a bit more money. Well, what did this cost? Let's have a think. This cost about £800, but that includes 20% tax. So you guys in the States would probably build one of these for about $1,000, maybe a bit less. I know you can go get one off the shelf. But it's not the same, is it? You could say it's better, but I'm not so sure it is, particularly with this one. So yeah, I'm going to cut back on doing any more of those. Waiting for other equipment to come after the NAMM show. I don't know what I'm going to be reviewing. We shall see. One last thing, I'm probably going to be zooming off into hospital for some service work. And the theory is I'll be back. Well, let's hope I will. And I'm going to do some more great videos. It's been fun. I'm going to pack up now and make a video of it being played. That'll probably come after this video. So anybody who wants to hear it, you can either wait till the end, or I'll post another video as well. And I'll do another video on the Chinese crap. Sorry, it wasn't necessarily Chinese, but no, it was. And make your own mind up. You want to buy a cheap one, have some fun. I did, till I threw it away. That's it for now. TonyMckenzie.com. Hopefully I'll write it up. I may not. We shall see. And I'll be back. Rock and roll. Now get out of here.